Nikola Jokic, a two-time MVP and NBA champion, currently is on top of the basketball world. However, his journey to stardom diverges from the expected path of an NBA career. Unlike those who typically shine in high school or early college, possessing exceptional athleticism and unmistakable star quality, Jokic was under the radar of almost all scouts and showed little promise on the court. In fact, he teetered on the edge of never gracing the NBA court. This is the story of Nikola Jokic and how he went from unknown to unstoppable.
No one on the planet is a better basketball player than Nikola Jokic.
This dude is leading a team to a championship.
He is the best basketball player in the world. He is so skilled and so smart.
Denver makes history. The Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history.
Nikola Jokic never had aspirations of being an NBA star. Growing up in Sombor, Serbia, he played basketball at a young age, but Jokic himself said that he was in no condition to make it far. He said that as a kid, he couldn't even do one push-up. All he did was play video games and drink 3 liters of Coke a day.
Actually, I quit playing basketball when I was like 13, 14, and I was here for like 6 months. And then my dad needs to convince my trainer to put me back in basketball. So,
needless to say, Nikola was not viewed as an NBA prospect and was overlooked by almost every team. Prior to the 2014 draft overseas for Mega Vizura, he averaged 11.4 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game. This was as average of a stat line as it gets. And Jokic was also a husky 295 pounds with very below average athleticism. He showed very little hope to scouts, and it was seen as very unlikely that he would be a future NBA star. However, the Nuggets noticed that he plays differently than other centers. He can possess the ball and make reads that other players on the court don't see. While they are playing basketball, Jokic is playing chess. In Serbia, he played at his own pace and had a great touch. The Nuggets realized that if they got him into better shape and helped him develop his skills a little more, they could have a steal.
With the 41st pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Nikola Jokic.
Normally during this part of the video, we show footage of the player getting drafted. However, for Jokic, he was so much of an afterthought that this was not televised, and they played a Taco Bell commercial while he was getting drafted. That's right, Taco Bell's Quesarito had more coverage during the NBA draft than Jokic. He didn't even watch himself get drafted since he thought it might not happen, and was asleep. He didn't find out he was drafted until the next morning, when his phone was overflowing with messages. Nikola Jokic came dangerously close to not playing in the NBA at all on several occasions. With him garnering little attention leading up to his selection, his agent at the time announced that he would be withdrawn from the NBA draft. In order for this not to happen, the Nuggets had to commit to Jokic with the 41st pick to convince his agent to keep him in the draft. After the 2014 draft, he had one more year to play in Europe before coming to the Nuggets. In the 2014-15 season, it seemed very likely that he would transfer to FC Barcelona, and team officials were almost done with the process of making a deal. They attended his final game for the season and prepared to offer him a contract. In this game, Jokic had what he described as the worst game of his professional career. The Barcelona scouts in attendance were so disappointed by his play that they withdrew their multi-year offer for him. This turn of events proved to be a blessing in disguise as it opened a pathway for him to join the Nuggets. After his team Mega Lex was eliminated from the Serbian League semifinals, he made the decision to part ways with them and pursue an NBA career. Every season he continued to improve and was ascending to one of the league's brightest stars. Many NBA players plateau early in their career. However, Jokic has consistently elevated his numbers and level of impact every year. He saw the biggest jump of his career in 2020 when he took the leap to being the league's MVP. In this season, he revolutionized the center position by achieving the most assists per game as a center since Wilt Chamberlain in 1967. This came as a surprise to many, as Jokic is not like the normal NBA superstar. He defies the trend where the team's best player dominates the ball a majority of the time. Yet this past season, he was 3rd in the NBA in assists. What sets him apart from his assist rivals such as Trae Young and James Harden, who were 1st and 2nd in assists ahead of him, is his efficient style of play. While Young, Harden, and other assist leaders held onto the ball for a considerable amount of time, Jokic avoided holding onto the ball longer than necessary, averaging just 1.43 dribbles per touch. This is compared to Harden and Young, who averaged 5.66 and 4.77 dribbles per touch. Players like Buddy Hield, Klay Thompson, and DeAndre Hunter share a similar DPT to Jokic, yet collectively, they average 6.6 assists, while Jokic averages higher than these three players combined with 9.8. Jokic excels at getting the ball and moving it quickly to find scorers, instead of dribbling it around and forcing it to other players like other assist leaders do. He plays the game at his own pace, and if the read he wants isn't there, he passes it off and resets until the defense gives him something to work with. He ranks 24th in usage this season, meaning he is used in many of the team's successful plays, but is trailing behind numerous MVP contenders and even second-tier stars. If you compare this to other MVP winners in terms of usage rate, Jokic has the lowest in a season since Tim Duncan in the 2002-03 season. It is remarkable how he is able to produce at an MVP level while holding the ball for a far shorter duration than other stars. This isn't the only unique trait that Jokic has. Most people would assume that a professional basketball player's favorite sport is basketball. Weirdly enough, his true passion lies elsewhere: horses. Surprisingly, after winning a playoff series, his primary desire during his downtime was to indulge in watching horses.
Conference finals for the first time since 2020. What are you going to do during this layoff as you await your opponent?
Probably watch my friend race horses.
Unlike other players who showcase their shoe collections or career achievements in their lockers, Jokic proudly displays his ribbons and pictures of his beloved horses. Even during his MVP award celebration, he made sure to incorporate his cherished horse, arriving in style by riding a chariot. Jokic's unique passion for horses sets him apart from his peers in the basketball world, but it isn't just that Jokic adds his uniqueness to the NBA. His skills rub off on the whole team. The Nuggets move the ball in under 2 seconds 56.2% of the time. The only team that gets rid of the ball quicker is the Warriors. The Nuggets do this by getting Jokic the ball in the center and letting him make quick reads. The Nuggets are elite in 2 areas. They're second in the NBA in points per game off of cuts, and they have a system where Jokic gets the ball and he looks for one of their wings cutting under the basket. This is most deadly when teams try to trap Jokic, leading to someone being open and him finding a teammate. The other elite area for the Nuggets is scoring off handoffs. The Nuggets ranked 3rd in the NBA in points per game off this play in the postseason, and Jamal Murray is the NBA's leading scorer off this play. This is key for the Nuggets as Jokic waits for the perfect moment to give Murray the ball and uses his body to create a screen where Jamal Murray pulls up open shots on the move. This play has been key to the Nuggets' playoff run, and Murray would not be able to have the success he has had if it weren't for Jokic's ability to read the defense on it. The shots Jokic creates for himself and his teammates are the best in the league. The Nuggets led the NBA in adjusted offensive shot quality, which means they were getting the highest percentage in quality shot attempts in all of basketball. He has been able to change players' careers with this. Look at Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The Lakers did everything they could to get rid of this man. In his time in LA, he shot an average 38.1%. This season, KCP shot 42.3% from 3, which was 12th in the NBA, and this was due to the shots that Jokic and his offense are able to create for him. In LA, 27.6% of the shots that KCP took were considered open, but in Denver, 35% of the shots KCP attempted were considered open. It's not that KCP all of a sudden became a better shooter, but more so the Nuggets found a system centered through Jokic that would get KCP more open looks and get the best out of him. Another player that Jokic revitalized has been Michael Porter Jr. For years, Michael Porter Jr. showed promise to score but has struggled to stay healthy. Coming out of college, he looked like he could create his own shots, but after injuries, he transitioned more into a spot shooter role. This role fit him perfectly, as this season, Michael Porter Jr. was in the 1st percentile in shot quality and was getting around 42% of his 3-point attempts wide open. With these great looks, Michael Porter Jr. has elevated his game and was 3rd in the NBA in 3-point percentage among players who shot at least 7 threes a game, with only Steph Curry and Buddy Hield performing better than him. Jokic and the Nuggets have put together a magical run this season, earning themselves their first championship in franchise history. While drama and playoff disappointments plague many other teams in the league, Jokic's presence on the court has had a transformative effect on his teammates, elevating their efficiency and fostering a genuine love for playing alongside him. From being a deep second-round pick to securing a spot on the all-rookie first team, becoming an all-star, and ultimately being crowned as the MVP and Finals MVP, his career trajectory has been nothing short of extraordinary. At 28 years old, he has already surpassed the wildest dreams of any player. What sets Jokic apart is his unique playstyle, which doesn't rely on athleticism, making him a player who can age gracefully in the game. Despite enduring criticism from both fans and media, Jokic's incredible postseason run solidifies his place as one of the greatest players to ever grace the basketball court. Sit back and enjoy, as we may never see another player like Nikola Jokic. If you're wondering how the Sixers could have had a better team than the Nuggets, watch this video.